Hey, hopefully you are having an amazing day. Today I wanted to come on here and show you this, exactly what is going on through our heads today, and kind of give you an insight on how to plan something. So I titled this Network Marketing in the MLM Business. It might be because of your strategy, okay? And just follow me here. I know that a lot of people talk a lot about different things, but I've actually decided to kind of go behind the scenes and show you kind of the things that go through our heads here as we put our team together and as we give them things, and really, most importantly, what you can do for move the needle forward with some of the things that you have going on. So the good thing about this is once you actually see this, I actually heard this from Frank Kern. And if you don't know who Frank Kern is, go and look it up. He's an amazing marketer. And it just makes a lot of sense to every now and then do this for your business. Now, what's good about this is independently, if you're in the network marketing industry, direct sales, if you're in real estate or any other sort of business, you could kind of and really break it down and find out where it is that you need to focus some attention. And I think it's just good because you could even do this in life, I guess, but I just decided to do this today. So I got really technical. So if you don't like technology and stuff, don't click off because it's not technical at all, okay? I'm just joking around. Actually, I didn't get technical at all, okay? All I have is a simple piece of paper that I'm going to flip my so you can go and see this. Now, if you're listening to this on the podcast, make sure you check out the YouTube video in the link, because there you'll be able to see some of the things that I am putting here. And if you're watching this on replay and you want the YouTube link, just let me know and I'll share that link with you, all right? So let's go ahead and do this for the network marketing industry, specifically the recruitment strategy, okay? Fancy, I've labeled it Network Marketing Recruiting Strategy. Now follow me here as I go through these assumptions, and I'll flip over my screen again here. Assumption number one, individual understands that the typical 9-to-5 job is not going to get them where they want to be. So again, as I flip the screen around here, why is that important? Now, if you're in the network marketing industry, or if you're in sales or entrepreneurship, etc., maybe here to have had a 9-to-5 job or a conventional job. It doesn't matter if it was 9 to 5 or 10 p.m. until 5 a.m., whatever the hours were, right? You had some sort of job, and maybe you were just like me, where one day you figured out, hey, crap, the position I'm in, the situation of what's going on, whether I'm getting a salary, whether it's an hourly thing, for me to get out of this situation just don't add up. And what I mean by that is, if you're working a conventional job right now, just do the numbers, okay? And even if you're making whatever, a $300,000 salary, depending on what your lifestyle is, the numbers might not add up. And let's just, because I could relate to this, because my salary before was less than $100,000. And then first, when I started off, I think my hourly wage was like $14 an hour. And number simply, if you're making $15 an hour and you multiply that times 40 hours, that's $600 a week. So yes, 15 times, yes, $600 a week. So on a monthly basis, that's $2,400. After taxes and insurance and all this stuff, maybe you have like $1,800, $1,700 left. From there, you got to take off the rent, student loan payments, car payments, credit cards, all that stuff, right? The only way for you to get more, so even if you were to work 168 hours, which is every single hour of the week, nonstop, you don't sleep, you don't take a break, you just work, $15 an hour at 168, that turns out to be, what is it, like $2,400 a week or something like that? So that's 10 grand a month. But obviously, if you're looking at this, you're like, this is impossible, because it's probably very hard for you to, is it 10 grand a month? I don't know, 15 times 168. You do the math. Whatever the number ends up being, you can't physically do that. So let's say you work 100 hours. a week, right? That's $1,500 a week, right? So again, that's the cap. The only way that you can make more money is if you get a higher rate. You can't work more hours, right? It's just physically impossible. So anyways, going back to this whole assumption, it's understanding that the individual already understand that, hey, the 9 to 5 grind, the 40 hours, the 60 hours, the 80 hours, the 100-hour week is not going to fix my problem, because it's just not, number one, it's not sustainable. You're probably going to get very sick. You're going to affect your relationships. Things are going to hit the fan, or whatever the saying goes, right? And it's just going to be a mess. So the only way for you to do more is get a higher salary, which then again, your salary, that's the only thing that moves the needle. It's still dependent on your time. And that's what I'm trying to get to, really, is that person understanding that, hey, working a conventional job where the result I get, the dollar amount I get, is related to my time is just not going to work for me, right, with whatever things I have in the future. So let me flip this thing again, my fancy schmancy paper here. Number 2, and I'll do this quick, they have an entrepreneurial drive. Is if you are just getting into entrepreneurship, you know that once you start doing this, there's nobody behind you. There's nobody checking in on you saying, hey, you know, did you come into work today? You were 15 minutes late. You left early on Friday. There's nobody there. So you have to have the drive where you have to figure it out. Doesn't matter if it's 5 o'clock in the morning. Doesn't matter if it's 12 o'clock at night. If you have something that you've committed to and something that you have some deliverables to the clients, it needs to get done, right? It's all on you. You're the entrepreneur. Yes, you can grow the team. Yes, you can subcontract things, but at the end of the day, that's your decision. You're the decision maker. You're the one that drives things forward. So that individual has to have at least that mentality, right? Again, if they're working a 9 to 5 job and they know that the 9 to 5 isn't going to get them out of the situation, and they understand that when they leave their employment full time, they're going to have to do responsible for motivating themselves and driving themselves, work ethic, whatever you call that, right? All right, so my next 2 assumptions are number 3 and number 4, and I'll go with these together. They are tech savvy, and number 4, they understand how to use social media. Now, don't laugh at me here, but when I first started in the network marketing business, I remember talking to some individuals, because you're told, right, you need to talk to every single thing that walks and has a pulse, explain to them what this thing is, and just get them to sign up. Well, one of my sign-ups was an individual who called me and says, hey, you know, I just got a computer. How do I turn this thing on? Okay, we got past that point. Then about 15 minutes later, they called me and they said, hey, I'm not sure where I need to sign in. Okay. And then they called me and they said, hey, I'm not sure what this thing, just end it right there, because I really felt bad for the individual, because I signed up the wrong person. And then what I felt like was that I was almost obligated to train this person to do all this stuff, to work on their computer, to figure out what this whole email thing was, because it was an older individual, and that person shouldn't have been put in that situation. And ultimately, what ended up happening is we got them a couple of their money back as far as their initial investment, but then I just told them that, you know, unfortunately, unless they brought in their nephew or somebody that was with technology, I just couldn't continue investing the time in them. And then, you know, we just split our ways, but at least they were able to make their money back, which I felt like ethically I had to do. But anyways, you know, so tech savvy, the person needs to at least understand technology, because if you're doing and again, it's up to you, if paper sheets and getting them signed up and faxing forms to your network marketing company, if that's what's still done, my hat's off to you, but that's not what I want to do. Again, we're talking about the recruitment strategy, and if you want to implement this on your business, figure out what it is that you want to do and just do it however it is that you want to do it. But don't force other individuals to say, hey, you know, we've always done it this way, this is what you should do. Have a stand, you know, have a stand and say, okay, I'm willing to do, I'm not willing to talk anymore to friends and family and get them to sign up and bug them and all this stuff. And anyways, And then strategy number 4, the assumption number 4, was they understand how to use social media. Again, there was another individual that I had brought into the business, and they said, hey, how do I post on Facebook? And I actually ended up going into YouTube and doing a video on how to post on Facebook. And they said, okay, somebody wrote to me on Facebook and they sent me a DM. What does that mean? So anyways, we all might have some horror stories. So these are my assumptions, right? The person is an entrepreneur. They have some entrepreneurial drive. They understand technology and they understand how to use social media, okay? So now let's get into the strategy, and this is the fun part, okay? So again, if you're listening to this in the podcast, you want to go and check out the YouTube video, as this will make a lot more sense. So this is the process from start here all the way to finish that your prospect kind of left these 3 things. At the end, you want them to sign up, right, to join the business. At somewhere in the middle, they need to have a presentation. I don't care if it's a hotel, if it's a webinar, if it's a 3-way call. That's what I'm calling a presentation. And at the beginning, that individual, at least for me, needs to be looking, okay? Again, there are plenty of people who might understand that the 9 to 5, but they might not be looking. The individuals that I personally want to work with, they need to be looking, okay? So then in the middle, there's a few things that are left out here. So, and then again, these are just 3 basic things that have to happen. So instead of looking, I'm going to have to go here and just put introduction. Because I know some people, they don't market effectively, so maybe they're still going out talking to individuals, so I'm saying introduction. All right, so you know that they, at the end, the middle, they need to have a presentation, and then somewhere here, they either need to be introduced to the opportunity or already looking for the opportunity, okay? So, for example, in my scenario, the ideal thing would be somebody is targeted on the Facebook ads. They go in here, they see an online presentation, they go in here, they click the button, and they sign up, and I don't talk to them ever, okay? That's the ideal situation. Now, what's happened, what I'm finding out is that right here, I have another step, which is called a phone interview, okay? A phone interview. And then right here, I actually have another step, which is called the application. Okay? And the reason that this is important is because typically what ends up happening is that the people I speak with, they go and they already have their some other type of opportunity, whatever. Then they fill out this application. My application is here, past the presentation. So then past the presentation, they fill out the application, which then we talk to them, which then they end up signing up. My conversion rates when I go from presentation to application to the phone interview to the sign up are much higher versus when I have a presentation and they go straight to the sign up. And again, you can measure this in your business. So what ends up happening here, you have follow-up, and then right here, I'm just going to put introduction, because this is actually what I'm doing, or this is called lead generation. Okay? So again, this is the steps. And again, there's within each one of these steps, there's more things that lay out. But kind of what I want for you to do for your business, independent of what network marketing company you're in, individual needs to come from the looking position to the presentation point to the sign up. What are all the things that need to happen in between in order for them to get from this point to that point? Okay, if we're doing a phone interview and we're really bad on the phone, what do I need to improve on here? Because it seems like I'm getting enough people to go all the way here, and then here, this is where the problem is that they're not continuing on the sign up. Or if you do have a sign up, let's say you're getting a 20% conversion rate, which would be really, really good. But let's say your conversion rate is 20%, but then you're saying, okay, well, let me do a split test. So you have 2 pages, and again, if you want to know what this is, you can go and check out the legendary MLM training. So you have a split test. So you have presentation 1, and then you have presentation 2. And what you actually do is you have different words that you say. And I know I'm getting a little bit ahead here. Maybe you don't know what I'm talking about trying and testing different things. But at the end, what I'm just trying to say is build out your strategy, right? Try to think of where does that person need to end up? Where does that person start? What are the things that happen in the middle? And how can I make the process better? And then by measuring the things, well, this is where we're lacking things, this is where we're lacking things, this is where we need to improve, so we're going to go ahead and take care of that. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Again, if you're struggling in network marketing, go and check out legendarymlm.com. There's a 5-day training series there. You can also check out the podcast. If you're listening to the podcast right now and you want to check out the YouTube video, go ahead and look in the description and you'll see that it makes a lot of sense. So hopefully you're enjoying your day. Go and strategize in your network marketing business. And I hope you have a great afternoon, and I'll see you on here on the next video.